Countdown. Game na ba? Wala.
It's
Wala man lang
game.
countdown. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 38 of the G3 podcast. That's Gamers, Geeks, and Good Times. And this is your host, BJG. Welcome. Happy Friday, mga kaibigan. Hello po sa mga sumasali sa atin dito. And of
Yes.
course, this night is never going to be complete. I'm never going to have a show without my favorite and my awesome co-panelists, co-hosts. Starting off with everybody's favorite Captain Mike. Welcome, sir. Hello.
Hey, what is happening, boys and girls? This is your captain speaking, and welcome. It's another Friday, and it's another G3 podcast.
Yan. And of course, the most colorful of all backgrounds. With a full almost beard. Noch is in the house. Welcome, sir. Welcome. How's it going?
Sige nga, kung favorite mo kami, ano yung favorite mo sa amin?
Yung unang-una, walang nambabara sa akin ng kasing tindi ng iyo. Promise yan, pare. You're the man. Number 2, wala ring hindi nakikinig sa akin katulad ni Captain Mike. Yan. So it all works out in the end.
Pasok naman.
Thank you. Friday, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hello to everybody that are here. Si Rafi, Papa Rafi is here. Thank you, Wilt Parocha. Happy Friday, G3.
Oy.
Hello, happy Friday to you too, sir. Of course, Joshua Clark is in the house.
Yeah, it's up,
San
Trickster.
Yoshida, what is up,
Si Joshua
boys?
Clark, hey, Pokemon trainer.
Yes! Pokemon trainer, tindi yan. Parang kinita ko pa ngayong araw yan. Para lang dyan sa... So shout out to you. Sana makahuli ka at makita mo yung Alpha Shiny Gengar early game para wala kang magawa.
Sana mahuli mo yung Bubalord. Bulalord.
Bulalord. It's a Friday. We have quite the discussion. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, we have sort of a shift that we did today. We weren't supposed to talk about this, but in the light of recent events, we're going to turn super sleuths. We're going to put on our thinking hats, our tinfoil hats, and we're going to be investigating a very, very interesting topic. Something that we've covered before back in the day. Pero before we get started, just after saying hello, kayo ba, ano mga trip nyo dyan? Parang busy to mga kayong mga ano eh. Busy kayo. What have you been up to, Captain Mike? What is up with you, man?
I've been, so, sabi ko nga, over at my page, I was in Boracay for a vacation.
Wow, Bri. Big time.
Oh, kinalad ko daw eh. Siyempre, sumama tayo. Pagbalik, we had to self-isolate ourselves kasi siyempre, you're traveling.
Ang sarap ng kalamansi cupcakes. The best.
Nangyakan, di umabot yan dito ah.
Ano ang abot? Nagpabili ka ba?
Okay.
Binibili yun,
Kasalanan
sir.
ko pa.
Binibili yun, sir. Nothing's for free, sir.
Apparently so. Oh, ano yung Cap?
Sasabihin ko dapat na I offered you, actually.
Hey.
Yeah, and he offered me, and I thought it was gonna give it to me for free. He tells me, "Hey, would you guys like some calamansi cupcakes?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Right? Yeah, but I have to sell it, no? And in my mind, are you gonna sell it to who? Like, why would you tell me this if you're gonna sell it? Apparently, binibenta pala na sa akin. So,
Actually, ano yan? Nagpabili kasi ako. Sabi ko, Kap, bili mo naman ako ng kalamansi cupcakes dyan. Kasi, nung time na madalas pa kami mag-Boracay ni Leo. Madalas. Hindi naman madalas mag-Boracay. Pero nung huling Boracay kasi namin, siguro we spent like 2 mornings dun sa Real Cafe. And dun binibili yung pinaka-legit and original calamansi cupcakes in Boracay. And, coffee is good, pero I never was a coffee drinker. Pero putik. And calamansi cupcakes, tapos now. Calamansi cupcakes, pero syempre, kakain ka muna ng chori burger.
Yan.
Sisingitan ko sa lasana. I'm not much of a coffee drinker talaga, kahit inubos mo lahat ng coffee doon na nakaraan.
Dahil ata din kaya nahili. Actually, kaya siguro dahil kay Isla Capsule, kaya na-appreciate ko yung the beauty of coffee. Kaya, hello kay JM Calimoso. Shot sana ng
Shot
kape.
sana. Oo, pare. Actually, nagpapatimpla ko eh. Wala lang maaabot. So you're quarantined right now. doing better, feeling better.
Oo naman.
You're gonna get
Syempre, we have to make sure na kahit alam mo yun, we have to travel. Syempre, we have to isolate ourselves para lang ma-make sure natin kasi we also need to go out every once in a while to get ourselves, de-stress kumbaga, no. Also speaking of
you got
de-stress,
something, all right. Oh, really?
shoutout nga rin pala doon sa mga nanonood sa atin via Popmug, Captain Mike, Notch, and Bingbing 2.0 pages. We can see you, we can read you, but obviously, if you want to join into the discussion, feel free to join in at the G3 podcast page. Check it out. So yun. I'm good.
Check it out.
How about you
Check
guys?
it out. Oh, we're good. Ikaw ba, Notch? Ano bang, ito si paring Notch busy to. Pero alam ko, may binabasa yan ngayon, may niluluto, may binabasa yan ngayon. Anong pinagbabasa mo ngayon, pare?
Tinitignan ko yung mga nanonood sa page ko. Wala mo yun, may page pa pala ako. Buhay na buhay! I'm not content creator page. I was medyo busy tayo this pero work-wise naman. Ang daming ginawa work-wise. Daming asikasuhin. Pero that's the thrill of the job. Kaya tayo nagkatrabaho not only because of the money, but also and we enjoy doing what we're doing. This coming from me is very, very new. Kasi, medyo marami tayong pinagdaanan. Pero kaya, itong linggo na to, parang I was really busy, but I reveled the fact that I'm busy doing something that I really want to do.
Yeah.
We're all good in the hood.
Yan ang importante, mga kaibigan. Never, ever, ever forget that. If I were to give a shout out to, I heard this from Denin C. So he's currently enjoying his shows. He's recently released single. Pasensya ka na, God bless. So shout out to Denin C. Congratulations on your single.
Shout out.
Hey.
He said that turn your passion into your profession, and that's that. Don't we all want to do that?
Uy, nabanggit mo rin si ano
talaga eh. I mean, let's say content creation is a passion of ours. Natin yan eh. I mean, in whatever way possible, be it streaming, be it vlogs, podcasts, or just posting on your Facebook Facebook pages. Content creation yun eh. So it's a passion that we do. If we get paid for it, well, goddamn, di ba? Solid. If you don't get paid for it, well, it's a passion, and there'll always be room for passion.
True.
Yeah,
you were gonna say something, Captain?
I was. Nabanggit mo rin lang naman tong si Denency. I would like to say congratulations nga pala sa kanyang bagong video. I naka-schedule yun for premiere. I enjoyed it. It was a very fresh song. I like the video. Sana sana supportahan nyo yung mga local artists natin kasi right now with the pandemic and all, the creativity of the Filipino is nagdo-dominate yan eh. And kaya yun, congratulations Denin for that new single. I actually like that.
Awesome.
Yun.
Narinig mo na?
Ikaw naman, syempre naman, masyado kang kukontray mo na.
Sige nga, isang sample nga. Chorus nga dyan, chorus.
Huwag mo na akong pakantayin.
Kakanta yan. Pero yun nga, that's absolutely true. Being able to help promote, our local artists, something that we strive to do here in G. But there you go. Let's get things rolling. Exactly 9:15 in the evening. We're gonna kick stuff off by starting with, of course, our favorite news that happened in the geek communities and the nerd kingdoms out there. Ladies and gentlemen, starting the show, this is your G3 News. This is actually one of my favorite IPs out there, and it's finally coming back in with a bang, but not the actual show. We're going to be talking about this news article from NintendoLife.com The Lord of the Rings video game rights are up for grabs. In the light of recent event, may mga binibiling Microsoft and Microsoft buying out Activision Blizzard. Let's take a look at this. This could fetch as much as $2 billion at auction. In an article written by Damien McFerrin on Nintendo Life, the rights to make video games based on J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy world of Middle-earth are going up for sale, Variety has reported. The Sol Zentz company has decided to sell its Tolkien holdings, were all expected to fetch around $2 billion at auction. Founded by the late Sol Zentz, who passed away in 2017, the company owns the rights to exploit The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, Tolkien's most famous books, in film, video games, merchandising, live events, and theme parks. Theme park. Dansko also has limited matching rights should the Tolkien estate decide to turn the Silmarillion and the Unfinished Tales of Numenor and Middle-earth. Those are nice books. 2 books published after Tolkien's death in 1973 into media properties. Warner Brothers, which owns New Line Cinema, the studio which brought Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies to the big screen, maintained some film rights. For example, last year it announced that it was creating an anime based on Lord of the Rings. However, Variety understands that in the view of Zansco's substantial live-action film rights reverted back to them last year, in part because Warner Brothers had not been actively developing new LOTR and related content. For more information about this news, please head on over to nintendolife.com/news/2022 and look for the number 2 article about the Lord of the Rings franchise. Moving on to our second and probably the biggest news we're going to be covering. And let me tell you, everyone, we weren't planning on doing this, but then again, it happened. It dropped in a report by Nintendo themselves and Polygon. Our next story covers Nintendo Direct February 2022, the biggest announcements made. All the news, new games, and announcements from Wednesday's 40-minute showcase, as related by Polygon.com and written by Owen S. Good. It reads, the first Nintendo Direct of 2022 dished up 40 minutes of new game announcements, though fans will have to wait a little longer if they were hoping to hear from Metroid Prime 4 or learn about the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Only those two are missing. Fans of Splatoon, Xenoblade Chronicles, and Fire Emblem didn't go home empty-handed, however, and sports fans even have 2 things to cheer for later this spring. Polygon Story Team has all their breakout coverage in one place. If you're just looking for the trailers and the highlights, it's right on their on their website, Polygon.com. There's so many things announced, including but not limited to Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, a new Mario Strikers game. Right? We have from Platoon, Kirby, and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch Sports, which succeeded the Nintendo Wii Sports, Mario Kart 8's deluxe courses, and many, many more. My personal favorite, Advance Wars in 1 and 2. If you want to check out the list of games announced in the Nintendo Direct February 9th, 2022, head on over to nintendo.com/Nintendo Direct. And that is our news for the evening. But before I get your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, about the Lord of the Rings, I just want to let everybody know that this episode is going to be covering something that is related to the last bit of news and to one of our last episodes from before. Aray ko, masakit. Masakit yung booster shot ko. Nangalay ako. But we're going to be talking about that, guys. What do you think about the Lord of the Rings video game IPs up for sale? Let's start off with Captain Mike. What are your thoughts on it?
Eto na nga po tayo. It's now up for grabs and people are now expecting what comes next. Amazon obviously is the expected bidder for this. And with the money and resources Amazon has, kaya nila pinupush ngayon to na sana sila yung makakuha. Ang question is, will it be enough to put Amazon into that spot na tatangkilikin na sila ngayon compared to say other platforms available? So yun yung sa akin. Although yun nga sinasabi nila na Warner Brothers also tried Pero dahil hindi nag-work, parang Amazon na ngayon was trying to pull each and every string they can pull para makuha to. It's too early to say for me. Pero with the Lord of the Rings and whatever games they already develop and will develop in the future, I would say this is going to be a hopefully a game changer ngayon sa ano natin, sa industry natin as we speak.
Nice. Wait, I'm getting reports of something happening. Is there something that just occurred right now? From our special reporter, Notch in the house. Are you there? Do we have something new? Anong kaganapan diyan, kapatid?
Oh, I was observing Notch kanina. He was so quiet and tapos yung mata niya biglang gumagalaw na mabilis. I think he found something interesting. What do you have, my friend?
Grabe talaga. Before I say my piece dun sa dalawang news natin. Ito, this is a flash announcement. Okay, so kung hindi nyo alam, no, the Nintendo Switch has actually dealt with a lot of hackers even after ma-release yung second model, no. So Gary Bowser, one of the public faces behind the Nintendo ROM hacker group Team Executor, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Oh shit.
3 years in prison.
This news just dropped, by the way.
This just dropped.
Less than an hour ago.
Originally, Bowser was looking at upwards of 10 years for his crime, 5 years for each count he pled guilty to. Last week, the US government argued that he should be given the maximum sentence for each count to be served concurrently. Bowser's lawyers countered that he should only get 19 months, claiming that he earned significantly less than his partners in crime, Max Lorne and Yuaning Chen. A ruling on February 10 has now sentenced Bowser to 40 months, a little over 3 years. So Bowser was part of the team that helped develop and sell mod chips and jailbreaking software for a plethora of Nintendo consoles, of course, which includes the Nintendo Switch. He was arrested in October 2020 and extradited to the US from the Dominican Republic. From the Dominican Republic, binalik siya sa US to face 11 felony counts, including, but not limited to, money laundering and wire fraud. He originally pled guilty to 2 counts, conspiracy to circumvent technological measures and to traffic in circumvention devices, meaning, hacking, basically, and was hit with a 4.5 million fine as a result. A month later, he received a further $10 million fine and damages brought against him in a separate civil suit. So grabe. This is basically the first time in video game history that someone was penalized this hard because of hacking.
Boys.
Nintendo.
You don't mess with Nintendo. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna say I may have enjoyed, certain unofficial gaming experiences. Let's just put it that way, no? Unofficial gaming experiences. Kaso talagang ginawang bisyo nito eh.
Ito pa malupit ha. While Bowser is about to spend his next 3 years in prison, no, kasi nakulong na siya plus may fine pa siya. So basically that's 14.5 million. Both Lorne and Chen are yet to face any criminal charges. Lorne currently has an extradition matter pending in France. Pag natapos yun, malamang kakasuhan. While Chen is still at large. So malamang nagtapos.
So none of your Koopas would matter now. This time Bowser's not going to be saved by his Koopas and his Troopas. And I find this funny. I find this funny. Sorry, go
funny ahead. And I find this amazing because alam naman natin dito sa Pilipinas, sobrang talamak.
True.
Diba? And kung pumunta lang sila dito, malamang marami nang nakasuhan eh. I mean, ako personally, I've actually done this. I've downloaded a PS2 game from a torrent and burned it on a CD. So ginagawa talaga dito 'yon. Easy as that. Pero kasi, this is Nintendo. And we
Right.
all know, if you're familiar, we all know how hard Nintendo gets when it comes to copyright. To
True.
think na lahat ng mga ROM websites, pinasara nila yung ROM sites na ito.
Now that's emo paradise, bro. Like
Not
in
only
cool
Emu
ROM.
Paradise, Cool
Cool
ROMs
ROM.
also.
Yeah.
There are actually a lot more ROM hackers. Marami. And I know some people who hack, who jailbreak rather, yung
Kaya yan din ang ano, it's obviously a wake-up call din for both yung nagde-develop nito
Yeah, you're
mga
gonna
to.
wake up to a $10 million fine. Like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking wake up to that.
14.5.
Sorry, 14. Dalawa pala. God damn, I'm gonna wake up to that.
Pero kasi people will see ngayon na hindi natutulog to si Nintendo. Medyo gumagapang-gapang lang to in the darkness and then bigla ka na lang huhuliin and all. That is a wake-up call for everyone din na do not attempt if you don't want to be getting these fines, 'di ba? Nakakatakot 'yan.
I mean, not to condone any criminal behavior legally. Legally speaking, we do not condone that.
Oo.
That's
Yeah.
now. But ito kasi with all the things that he's done, for him to be fined and be actually pursued by Nintendo, that would have meant that they've earned significant amounts of money by circumnavigating security measures.
Yeah, they're selling their hacks. They're
and
selling bot
they,
chips.
yun na nga. So you would have already made a lot of money. And you could have stopped there. You could have stopped at a certain point of the sale. Pero no, people's greed can really get into them. So, bottom line, moral of the story is Nintendo is watching. That little plumber is a sneaky plumber. Huh? You don't know who's listening through the pipes.
Oo, kasi
Totoo
kasi
yun.
kasi the thing is they're saying na they have how many millions of dollars in losses. Tapos ang siningil lang is like how much? 14 hindi ka pa nga nakapag-break even doon dahil sa loss, diba?
14.5, yeah.
And in the article is saying na they're losing more than 65 million worth of losses as an estimate.
Yeah.
Diba? So it's a scary move kung if you're thinking, don't. Yun na lang sa akin.
Ako, last few words on this. I'm never against, may tamang term dito Pero, ito yung sinasabi ko nga kasi si Cap, gusto niya bumili ng Nintendo.
Yeah, we're discussing
ang sinabi ko sa kanya, you have to weigh the pros and cons. Kasi for example, the Nintendo Switch, aside from having exclusives that are focused on more or less the same characters like Mario, Zelda, and the others. Mahal ang games ng Nintendo Switch dahil sila lang ang may cartridge ngayon. You're going to pay for like ganyan kaliit na box. Tapos yung cartridge mo ganyan lang kaliit. Diba? And you're going to pay like mga average mga 2,600 to 3,000 pesos just to play a new game that you would be able to finish within mga 2-3 months, basically mga ganyan. I'm not stopping that. I enjoy doing that. I'm a gamer. And kung hindi natin kaya bumili, syempre, we look for means to play. Lahat ay magawa, ganun talaga diba?
Opportunities.
Opportunities Pero, again, ingat-ingat lang. Kasi, we never know who's watching. Wala tayo sa PlayStation, pero this is Nintendo. If they were able to get someone from the Dominican Republic.
Extradited.
Extradited. Kung kahit saan ka man sa mundo, kung kahit nasa Pilipinas ka, it's possible. Kaya, be extra careful with what you do. And like I said, I'm not against it and I'm not condoning it. At masasabi ko lang na I do not own any Super Nintendo ROMs. I do not own.
Why does it sound like he's trying to protect
Sinasabi ko
himself?
nga eh.
He was
From
putting a
further
disclaimer
litigation.
already,
Sinasabi ko
no?
nga eh. Sinasabi ko nga eh. I do not own any Super Nintendo ROMs. I've deleted them all.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
Everything. I don't own everything. Inuulit ko lang yun. No? So you just have to be careful.
He has to have a recorded statement already.
It has to
I
be.
do not own it. Wala ako nun. It's not my
Not condone
possession.
any criminal act.
Not in my possession. It's somewhere
yeah.
else.
Yeah. Support the game devs by buying their games.
Oh, no.
Yun lang.
Especially now because I just bought Pokemon Legends Arceus. Ay, di pala nakikita. Pero yeah, playing it for a while.
May nanonood na nakuha na yung Arceus niya.
Oy, Pokemon Trainer. Sige, ito na yan. Sorry, natagal tayo sa topic na.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Notch, for that breaking news. Ganito kami sa G, pare. When something happens, right there, bang, if we feel that it needs to be shared to you guys, we're gonna let you hear the information first from the website, then to us. And we're not claiming.
We're claiming na galing sa amin, syempre.
Pero we saw it, we shared it with you, right?
Yeah,
Bada bing, bada boom, everybody's happy.
Warning na rin sa mga hackers dyan, sa merong mga ROMs. I don't have any ROMs, so you cannot search.
Ako, just one last thing about that, about ROMs and all that. I believe in digital preservation of historical assets.
Exactly.
I strongly back up the entire emulation community. I am a strong proponent of emulators.
Same.
But we do not condone, and this is the legal part of it, let it be known, henceforth, therefore, herewith, that we do not condone any criminal action in any shape, form, or form.
And if we do own any ROMs, if we do have ROMs in our possession, we do not sell it by any means.
Neither do we confirm, neither confirm nor deny the existence of any such assets in our possession.
Yes.
And we do not double in sales.
I plead the fifth.
Kap, erase mo na.
I plead the fifth. Okay, guys, sarado na natin. Tapusin na natin itong episode na to.
Thank you. It's the spirit of Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Pinag-usapan nga namin kanina. It's such a busy Friday. But it's the spirit of Friday coming in, and we're going to be talking about yet another spirit. We started the conversation already. Lord of the Rings video games up for grabs. There have been a lot of good games and video games in general. The most recent ones are Shadow of Mordor. And then there's one coming in, which is Lord of the Rings Gollum. But before them, there are a lot of tie-ins in video games. Do you guys think that it's going to matter if somebody revives the video game media for Lord of the Rings now that Rings of Power is coming up and the trailer is dropping on Super Bowl Sunday? Looking forward to that. I like playing the RTS games. I also tried playing the Return of the King, because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. But I really enjoyed playing the RTS games, Battle for Middle Earth 1 and 2. So I play as yung race ko doon was Mordor. Kayo ba? Did you guys play any Lord of the Rings games, and how does this fare with you?
I played Fellowship of the Ring. I haven't played Return of the King. I played Two Towers. I played The Third Age. God damn. Sobrang gusto ko yung laro na yan. It's an RPG. It's a Lord of the Rings based RPG. And of course, basically, you're someone who's following the original. So ganun yung story. Pero sobrang ganda for me. I played the RTS one, Battle for Middle Earth, pero saglit lang. And of course, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of Mordor and the sequel, Shadow of Mordor. I forgot it. Pero that's one, actually Shadow of Mordor was one of the games that I finished on my PS4. Sobrang mahal na mahal ko yung game na yun.
Which is cool because it actually tells you the story of one of the Nazguls. And the story of how it all began. I always enjoyed playing the RTS version. Battle of Middle Earth, I play as Mordor and Isengard. Pero ang iconic sa akin yung theme ng Rohan. Puta pare, chills, man. And whenever I do my cavalry charge, I know I enjoy it. Ikaw, Kap.
I have not played a single game.
You have not played any of the Lord of the Rings
Seryoso
games?
ba yan?
Hindi
You have a
kasi-
PS4 and you don't have Shadows of... Oh, ano nga pala yung sequel na? I forgot.
Kasi parang
Ano ba
feeling ko
sequel to?
hindi ko siya ma-appreciate ng ganun-gano kasi because of the story and all eh. Pero
Ang question dyan is, do you enjoy, have you watched the Lord of the Rings movie?
naman, napanood ko naman yung tatlo kahit alam
Did
mo
did you enjoy it? What do you think?
natuwa
Gusto
naman
mo ba?
natuwa naman ako dun sa movie kahit alam mong mahaba siya. Pero
Shadow of War, there you go. Shadow of War.
sa akin kasi parang parang feeling ko dahil sa sobrang haba ng movie, para pag nilaro ko pa siya sa game, hindi ko siya ma-appreciate. Ganun kasi yung mentality ko doon eh.
He doesn't have enough time on this earth.
So totoo lang, kami ni Leia, binage-watch namin yung tatlong movies We went on for like 5 days. Para
5
lang
days?
matapos. 5 days.
Took
Each
you 5
movie
days?
is 3 hours
I did Lord of the Rings extended director's cut all in one sitting plus The Hobbit. Ganun ako ka-nerd.
Do you take a break? Do you even take a break
Yeah,
if it's gonna be straight?
I take bathroom breaks and whatever, but this was the time when I was doing anything. So we binged watched the entire trilogy of Lord of the Rings extended versions though, yung director's cut and The Hobbit, and then you might
have another chance of doing it again after this podcast.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Silmarillion to come out. Sabi nga ni Jim Calimoso, Silmarillion. Awesome yan, pare. So you've never dabbled into anything Middle Earth outside of the movies?
No.
And you've never watched it more than once?
Not more than once.
Okay.
Kasi pinanood ko siya just to, find out what happened to the story and all. Tapos hanggang sa matapos na.
Probably it's one of, for Cap, maybe it's just one of those movies na, it's okay. Yung ganun. Kasi marami namang ganun eh. Hindi naman lahat na-expect mo.
Pero kayo,
bra.
Yung bang game na yun is worthy of, kung halimbawa hindi mo siya napanood, is it worth playing?
That's a very good question. Which one?
I mean, any LOTR games.
It depends, Cap. Siyempre, you have to be specific kasi not every game is based on the movie. Diba?
Right.
Like, Shadow of War isn't really based on the movie, but it's based in the same universe.
Okay.
Right. So, that's why I was very excited when you told me that you're not, because boy, do we have a story for you, right? So to answer your question, it depends on the game. If you're going to play the games with the same title as that of the movies, you don't need to watch the movie to learn the game.
Okay.
Right? I mean, it's because it's essentially the story of the movie turned into a video game. But if you play any of the video games that are not titled like the ones that you saw in the movies, then you may miss a few parts that would not make sense to you. Like, for example, in Shadow of Mordor, you will learn that he is one of the Nazgûl. He is one of the ring wraiths. He's one of the, in fact, he's the Witch King of Angmar. Sato yata yun eh. Siya yun, di ba? Sato. But you wouldn't know that because you wouldn't feel the impact of how the Witch King of Angmar was in the movie. Na namatay siya kay Eowyn kasi sinaksak siya sa mukha after saying, "No man can kill me." True, no man can kill you, but a woman can. So you'll miss that. It'll go over your head.
Okay.
And you wouldn't appreciate it as much. So if you want to play video games without watching the movie, try the ones yung mga PlayStation 2 versions that you must acquire legally.
Of course.
And of course, we do not condone any legal. Kinabahan din ako eh. Simula na nag-preamble to si Chino, parang gusto ko rin mag-legal statement every time na may sasabihin ako.
Yeah.
You have to be careful, di ba?
Sige, that would be, that's a good recommendation, guys. So, thank you, sobra.
Dude, you're gonna enjoy it. Sabi ni Jim Calimoso, anyone excited for the LRTR series in Amazon? Me! Me! Ako.
Rings of Power!
Rings of Power, yes. There's also the upcoming Gollum game. Yes, I would like to play as Gollum. Not that I need more experience from that, given where I live.
You know, it's a wonder lang, no? Saan magsisimula yung story ni Gollum, no? I mean, will it start from the early chapters of his life with the ring? Will it start with when he met when he met Bilbo or Frodo, you know?
Kasi there was in the story,
mahaba yung story
mahaba kasi it was pre-Bilbo pa when he got it. And remember, when he got the ring, it stayed with him with 60 years. Now, actually, no, sorry, it stayed with him for 500 years. He was alive for 500 years. Tapos before that, may buhay pa siya, di ba? So it's probably during that time, before and after he met Frodo. Pero it's an interesting take on the Lord of the Rings series. You now go to see it through the lens of malpractice. Sira ulo po.
So, yun.
Pero I love Andy
Parang narinig ko
Serkis.
si Jar Jar Binks.
Baliw. Pero I love Andy Serkis when he did that. Solid pa. Solid yung performance.
Magaling.
Ito nga, sabi nga ni JM, excited ako kaso di ko alam kung paano mag-subscribe sa Amazon Prime Video.
Ay, madali lang yun. Peramin kita ng sa akin.
Yan ang galante.
Very legally. And again, we will lend it to you legally and we do not condone any criminal.
Legally, I am paying for my account. So, peramin kita. I have like a free 6 months from Globe. So,
pag ito naging staple, pare. If this becomes a fucking staple on the show where we say that we're legally protecting ourselves, people are gonna.
Why? I mean, why not?
Right? Diba? We're law-abiding citizens.
Of course we are.
Before we bury ourselves in more litigation and possible crime, we're moving on to the next news bit. Something I was very excited about. I was really happy I got to watch part of it. I wasn't expecting that I would, but I was happy that I did. Last February 9th, 2 days ago, Nintendo dropped a very nice Nintendo Direct. The first one in a series of Direct shows they will be showing here in 2022. And they made a lot of announcements, which is related to our main discussion. Napakaganda ng mga list na I almost did not find anything that I didn't care about in the game. You know, I mean, there's probably one or two things that I really didn't care, like, you know, the show 2022, the baseball game. Not a huge baseball fan. I'm a huge fan of the Mario soccer game though, because I used to play football when I was in high school. Tapos they finally had Smash Brothers X, you know, football. Angas eh. What were you guys most excited about when you watched the Direct? And tell me why you're looking forward to those announcements. Starting off with Captain Mike.
We were talking about this one, no, William, about...
Yes, Miguel. Tinawag akong William mo on air. Oh, Miguel. By the way, guys, tawagin niyo siyang Kapitan Miguel. Miguel! Ano yan, Miguel?
To answer, it's front mission. When they announce it, front mission first. Kasi we BJ and I were talking about Tablay, which by the way, if you haven't, you should get yourselves a copy. Para alam niyo, you know where your money is going. Also, so we mentioned namin yun because of the mecha part, tapos nabanggit ko sa kanya na back in my day, I was playing front mission noon kahit alam ko
1932.
Ano may front mission na ba ng panahon ng Kastila?
Ayup.
Ito talaga si Miguel, oh. Miguel.
1932.
So we were talking about it kasi sabi ko, na-miss ko yung game kasi wala na akong makitang copies ng game na yun anywhere. And then, nung pagising ko, BJ just
si Migs talaga.
BJ tagged me on it and said,
Si Miggy.
there's an upcoming front mission game for the Switch.
Yeah, kasi, di ba front mission was the first front mission, the original one was a Japan exclusive.
It is.
Right.
Also in the Super Famicom
SNES pa.
Yun.
Super Famicom, rather, yeah.
So, sabi ko, pinakita nila yung mga graphical changes doon, no? Sana damihan nila yung mechanics noon. Ako excited ako. Sabi ko nga kay Chino the other day or yesterday na I will buy the Nintendo Switch just because of this game kasi gusto ko siya laruin. But we will delve into that particular part later. Another one that I'm excited about is, believe it or not, yung Nintendo Switch ports, which came from yung sa Wii Sports, 'di ba? Kasi ngayong kasi kinreate yung Wii Sports na yon for people to stay at home and play, with your friends, 'di ba? Or online. Nagka-pandemic. Perfect timing na pinasok nila tong Nintendo Switch Sports kasi now they can not only play with some of their friends at home, but they can also play online.
Truths.
And with the additional games like volleyball, badminton, soccer, and then I heard golf will be included. So for me, that might be my second reason pa na one of the additional reasons why Hindi.
Golfer ka pala.
I just love the mechanics. Wag kang So, yun yung reason ko one of the reasons kung ba't ko kukuha na Switch.
Right. Ikaw, Notch, I mean, when I don't know if you were awake when this happened, but I know you sat down through the entire thing. Apart from the obvious ones that we're going to be talking about, what are your go-to bombs that dropped during the announcements?
Actually, medyo disappointed ako kasi I was actually waiting for more news on Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever the title will be. Pero, there are a lot There's a lot of announcements na dumating sa akin. I'm a big fan of No Man's Sky. I have No Man's Sky on my PC. And lalabas siya sa Switch. Yun nga lang, I'm sure it has to be online. I don't know. Aside from that, you have Klonoa, 1 and 2, kompleto na yan.
Sakit lang ng braso ko, pero yeah.
Always a big fan of Fire Emblem. And alam mo, nung nakita ko yung Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yun yung huli.
It compelled me more to play the first and second game. Pati yung mga past games. Kasi they're all connected. Alam mo naman ako, gusto ko yung may connection eh. Diba? Right. That's how I read comics. That's how I watch my movies. How I play my games. No, I'm not a big fan of Advance Wars and Front Mission. Pero of course, definitely, I'm happy they're there. Ang isang nagustuhan ko doon, isa sa mga nagustuhan ko was the Ezio trilogy.
Pare.
Pare. I don't know how.
I suddenly screamed, Ezio Auditore! I had to scream it.
I'm not sure if ako lang, pero basically aside from Black Flag, yung Ezio trilogy was really one of my favorite Assassin's Creed stories. Siyempre taking it from the first Assassin's Creed, tapos Desmond, and ang umabot sa point na tumanda na si Ezio. Sobrang natuwa ako doon. Kaya I'm excited. I'm excited to play it on my Switch actually. Hinihintay ko na yan. I finished it. Meron din ata ako sa PS. Pero Assassin's Creed on the go, why not? Diba?
Right. Agree.
Why not?
Before I reveal mine, let me just read some of the comments here.
Bago mo read yung mga comments, I will buy a legitimate copy.
Yes, that's important.
The Ezio trilogy.
Can we have a close up of Notch doing that? Another legal preamble.
Never mind that. No, never mind.
Legal disclaimer.
Everything I do on the Nintendo Switch is legal, and by all means, paid for.
Yes. Notwithstanding any former transactions in the past, we are fully legit.
Yes. Legitimate.
Legitimate childs. So basahin ko na to. Joshua said, I'm looking forward for Kirby. Yes, Kirby, and then the Forgotten Land. I'm a car. This is so cool. He swallows a car, he becomes a car. John Japson, we're saving that for
John Japson!
But I'm gonna read it anyway, brother. Chrono Cross.
Brother, it's you, brother.
Yan. And those two games are really one of the top-notch things there. I saw a couple of stuff that I think are underrated. The fact that Live Alive, a purely Japanese exclusive RPG, is coming to the Switch.
Oh, aside
Uh,
from that,
mm,
Earthbound.
Earthbound, yes.
Mm.
Earthbound, may history kami ng Earthbound. Nagsutukan kami ng kapitbahay ko na dahil sa Earthbound. Kasi 'di ba, when you buy the Nintendo Power, right? And there's this Earthbound is so popular for, scratching off that thing and then you smell it and it smells bad. I scratched it so hard that I tore the page. Nagalit siya, sinapak ako,
Ouch.
pare. Sinapak ko rin. Tapos, bati na
Dapat
kami
lang.
after. Sorry.
Ikaw naman, di na nga sa'yo, kinakamot mo po. Tapos,
Pati ako, sapakin kita yun. Lalo na
Kasi
ngayon,
fast.
lalo na ngayon na pag meron kang original and legitimate copy of Earthbound.
Yes.
It's rare. It's rare. At pag binenta mo yun, malaking mahalaga.
Correct. It has a really rich history. That and yung tawag dito, ano ba to? I'm looking at the ayaw ko kasing banggitin yung mga obvious. Taiko no Tatsujin, I saw that. I was really happy for that. When it's coming here.
Hentai ba yun?
And Taiko
Hentai.
drum, pare.
Taiko
drum. Taiko. Again, we do not condone any criminal acts here in G. Notwithstanding the already downloaded videos of Miguel Quintana.
Yes.
I also like to,
Beautiful
highlight
voice.
you,
Boys B.
Hindi,
Uy,
can
putang
I
pinanood
just
ko yun,
highlight, Can I just highlight na
You can.
No Man's Sky was also now, may Switch version na rin siya. And I think
No,
that
sinabi ko
is
kanina.
a perfect addition to a Switch player kasi sobrang dami na pwede mong puntahan sa No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually one of the best redemption stories in the video game industry.
Yeah.
Starting from trash, literally trash.
From a lie.
From a lie. Well,
15
there's a lot of lies. Yes, exactly.
15 quintillion planets to one of the a game that is played by many people now. So
Oh, yun.
I agree with you. Success story. I'm
From
just
a
waiting to
lie.
look for that dinosaur with hooves. Napanood mo ba yung meme na
Pare.
yun? Jurassic Park.
Ito lang yun, binili ko yung No Man's Sky when it was already good. And nung nilalaro ko siya, I went to a planet. I don't know where. It's a mysterious planet. I didn't remember. Kasi,
With so many planets, you can't
so many planets, you would never know where you can go. Pucha, pagdating ko doon, pare. So I was, foraging some minerals, some shit. Creating my base.
Oo.
Puta, may nakita ako, may gumanon. Ang laki, pare. Puta, nung nalapitan ko, ang laking uon, man. It's like a fucking big leech. Okay, bye. I mean, No Man's Sky is such a surprise. And for those who bought it and hated it, pare, buy it again kung nagpa-refund ka, or if you didn't get a refund and you uninstall it, install it now. Ano mo to kung ano yung pinaka-recent na update, pero they had a big update. It was a free update. And basta ang ganda lang.
And,
Right.
gusto ko rin i-add yung Mario Strikers Battle League.
Always fun.
It's for me, I would call it
Football.
as rock and roll racing meets Switch sports.
Talaga?
Guys,
Parang
huwag kayo maingay. Huwag kayo maingay.
Bakit?
May nakita akong kadabra na wala. Nawala!
Napakahayop mo.
Nahuli.
Buti nga sa'yo.
Shoutout nga rin pala doon sa mga natin na we have a couple of viewers also that are Switch players and has has RCUs, by the way. So, ngayong nalaman nila yung pinagsasasabi mo dyan.
Naglalaro nagpapalabas na rito yung nanguhuli ng kadabra. Buti nga nawala.
Tangina, bad trip pag nag-teleport bigla nawala eh. Sabi ni John Jobson, di niya raw niya tripan yung No Man's Sky para mas gusto niya yung Subnautica. I have not played Subnautica pero sabi nga maganda nga daw yun.
I have played Subnautica and what it adds to No Man's Sky that's not readily there is the dread. Surprisingly enough, for a very colorful game, tapos you start diving, yung biglang lulusot yung, bakit may pangil sa harapan ko? It's a shark. And it's
Parang
not
gusto
just
ko
a
tuloy
regular
panoorin.
alien shark, man. It's
Parang
crazy.
gusto ko laruin.
Maganda. Nakakatakot.
Also, ito
Kasi
sabi,
talagang it really focuses on survival and resource gathering.
Josh was saying Triangle Strategies demo got an update. So that's another one of my backlog, and that's just a demo.
That's just one of his backlog out of the 500 plus games on his Steam. And I'm not exaggerating. This guy has like 500 games. I don't even know what this guy's thinking.
And I even actually recommended a game to him yesterday. So that's another headache for you.
That's one more. Black and white. No? Now, the reason why we're talking about this, ano sabi na, buti ko shark lang, Leviathan yan. Yun na nga, kaya nga pangil lang. Paglangoy ko na gano'n, may pangil. Akala ko it was a pillar. There can't be a pillar in the middle of the goddamn ocean. And then it tapers to the bottom. Aba, ngipin, sabi ko. Maganda, intense din, sabi ni John. Yeah. A lot of really good titles. But what really caught our attention, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be moving on to the meat of the conversation, the core of our discussion, the main topic for tonight's episode. What really got our attention was Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross, it was a PlayStation 1, I think it was a PlayStation 1, no? The PlayStation 1 release that's supposed to take up after the success of Chrono Trigger, which was released on the Super Nintendo. Now, yes, it's a great game. Yes, it's a wonderful comeback. There are a lot of memories there, links and the 42 endings and the multiple party members that'll coming along with you for the ride. But what's really interesting is what we're going to give tonight's G Spotlight. Let's take a look. The reason why Chrono Cross is so freaking relevant in our conversation, and again, it's as a great game. It has a lot of it's in the hearts of many people who played it back in the PlayStation 1 days. It's not a very well-known game now, but it has been asked by a lot of those people who turned out to be following the Chrono series. Now, back in 2001, if you remember, there was and Chino would call it a quote-unquote leak from Nvidia, and Chrono Cross was one of them, along with other released games already that we didn't even notice, such as Uncharted, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Horizon Forbidden West, Returnal, and a whole lot more. Those games were in the leak that was, leaked out to the internet and to the interwebs and permeated the imaginations of everybody, including what such legally outstanding person of the community named Notch. Legally outstanding, no criminal record whatsoever.
Very clean.
Can neither confirm or deny his crimes. Pero, ito ngayon ang tanong ko sa inyo, pare. With all of the games that are now out, and we just realized this, because when you go back to the leak, you would realize that a lot of the games in the list are already released. You have City Skylines 2, Crisis 4. Diba? I mean, those Metal Gears, hindi pa release yan. You have the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Uncharted,
and there are
God of War.
God of War, yeah. And we didn't realize this as the months were coming by and it went into 2022. And then when Chrono Cross was announced, we all went, wasn't this part of the leak? And now we're going to investigate. We're going to take a look. We're going to take down and we're going to go to a granular detail of what the list contains and what does it mean for the community now that most of almost half have been announced and are actually true. I want to throw the first question to you guys. Captain Mike, we didn't realize this was happening. But with our last episode, we covered the leak. How did you feel when it finally dawned upon you? It's part of the leak. What was your reaction to that?
I think parang ano yun yung leak na yun, kasi we can obviously take leaks as a grain of salt, no? For me, I would say, nung lumabas na yung mga supposed leaks na yan and we got people excited, then probably the devs and the creators probably said, uy, mukhang mag-work to. Let's see if our titles would give hype to the gamers now in quarantine. Kasi I mentioned quarantine at this point kasi syempre most of the people are home. Syempre you have people are sad and depressed. Obviously people are thinking a lot. Kaya yung mga gamers, pag nakapag-announce sila ng games kagaya nito nung Chrono Cross, no, I'm definitely sure a lot of people were so excited to find out na there's going to be a new Chrono Cross launch.
Yes, and 1,000 pesos lang siya sa Steam.
Diba?
Yeah, nakita ko 99 pesos. See, it's not even a Switch exclusive. It's coming to Steam.
And PS4 and Xbox.
Of course, it should come to PS4 because it first came out in PS1. So.
Kaya masaya ngayon yung feeling ng mga tao eh. And for me, nung nakita ko yung mga leaks na to, parang nag-iisip ako ngayon ano pa kaya pwede ngayong ipalabas from the past na gusto mong dalhin ngayon? Or may mga gusto ka bang ilipat ng ibang platforms? Is the best dun eh. Yun yung ko. Yun ngayon yung current feeling ko ngayon. And my God, it's a great time to be a gamer.
It actually is. It's actually this month had a lot of AAA game releases. Tifu, Elden Ring will be released in the event. Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 just got released as well.
Right.
Dami. I mean, this month, man. Crazy.
Oh, shout out daw si Miss Keanu Badua Liwag. Hello po.
Hi, Miss Keanu.
Miss Keanu.
Bro, hello.
Ayaw mo ba? hello, sir. Oh, so let me ask you guys, have you actually played some of the ones that are true that came from the leak?
Well, I haven't played it, but I've seen it. Of course, Uncharted, nakita naman na natin yan sa Steam. 7R was just released last year, mga last quarter, I think, or third quarter. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Well, it was got released last year, ata, if I'm not correct. I'm sure Josh was listening, and I'm sure he would know this.
He would have the answer.
I think it was released last year, and it was part of the leak. You just have to remember lang. You just have to remember na it doesn't even though it's in a GeForce Now leak, it doesn't mean that it's
set in stone
exclusive. It's you know, ano siya GeForce Now is a streaming platform, and ano lang kasi dyan is they're preparing for these releases. Yun yung idea of the league. And marami pa eh. Crash Team Racing on PC.
Yeah, like the Nitro Fueled. I was surprised. I didn't realize that. I saw it on the list when I looked at the list again, and I realized, pucha, kasama pala yung Crash.
Tandaan nyo, yung Destroy All Humans 2, nandun.
Oh,
yung remake, and it was just announced.
Correct.
Diba?
Even the Resident Evil 4 remaster.
Exactly. Although hindi pa confirmed yun, hindi pa confirmed ang
remake pala to, remake.
Hindi pa confirmed ang remake, pero there are a lot of news about it.
Monster Hunter 6
Crisis 4 just got announced, although malayo pa yon, probably mga 2 years pa, pero but still, di ba, it got announced. Arkham Knight remasters announced as well. Hindi ko sinasabing lahat ito is set in stone, no? or will materialize, pero we've seen a few of them that are already within our grasp. Good example is Shin Megami Tensei.
True.
Diba? Judgments, they say, will come on PC, and why not? Kasi merong Yakuza.
Uy, ako gusto ko laruin ng Judgment. Solid yun.
Diba? I mean, these games that are on the list, more or less nandito sila. Mirror's Edge Remaster, possible yan. Isa pa. Ito pa. Grand Theft 3. Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, the definitive edition.
They're even so well into the release that they're screwing things up right now, but it was talked about in the leak, right?
Yung sa akin I was pinag-isipan ko talaga na tinignan ko yung list. And one of the things that got my attention was Metal Gear Solid 3 in HD.
Di bali na yung 2 Di bali na yung 2, pero yung 3, please.
Let's even forget 2. I mean, it's not a bad game. I'm just saying I care more about Snake Eater.
Sinasabi ko lang yung Sons of Liberty I can do without.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to slip on bird poo again.
Or even MGS4 I can do without.
Diba? So it's
pero not puta Snake Eater, come on. Big Boss, dun simula ang lahat.
Oo.
Yeah.
Iconic yun.
Hindi lang to hindi dapat remake nga to kung pwede.
Ito pa.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake, meron na tayo, diba?
Yes.
Final Fantasy 9 Remake. Inaabangan natin yan kasi nasa list yan. Final Fantasy 16 was on the list and we know na it's under development.
Correct.
Sa pang hinihintay ni BJ and ako hinihintay ko rin yan. Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. At kahit remaster lang, I'm okay with it. I don't need a remake of that.
Remaster lang.
Remake of that. Ang hindi lang naging totoo though was Tomb Raider Anniversary. The Tomb Raider 25th Anniversary. Hindi siya naging totoo maybe because people were expecting na parang yung lahat ng Tomb Raider games from before will get remasters and everything. Pero hindi. It's not that Pero yung nangyari was they announced na the Tomb Raider Osiris ba yun? Basta yung may Osiris, Tomb of Osiris will be launching to the Nintendo Switch.
So this is what I'm asking now. I mean, yeah, maraming hindi natuloy. Meron mga hindi natuloy, but what tells us that it's not going to be? It wasn't just pushed back. The thing is, when this leak was announced, everybody said, okay, it could not be true, right? People kind of like disregarded it. And then little by little, the game started to come out. It wasn't announced. There was no date whatsoever, pero the game started creeping in. What makes us now think that it will not happen unless something big behind the developers, and the publishers have a problem. Pero look, Chrono Cross, something that was not even talked about.
Nobody saw that coming.
Isa pa. No one. This was actually a surprise for everyone. Fable remake.
Yeah, right.
Diba? No one talked about it. There was no big announcement. Pero bigla na lang lumabas yung trailer. I mean, it wasn't really a gameplay trailer, but it was a teaser basically. Kinain yung fairy ng palaka. Pero fuck man, Fable remake. Diba? Shit. And play the hell out of that game.
And the thing is, ngayon, yung mga in the case of the Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, people were like, pinagkakalat lang nila yung balita Hindi natin alam if it's really pinagkakalat nila yung balita with some marketing plan na, sige, spread nyo yung word na yan, it's gonna happen. Diba? Tapos nung nangyari, obviously people were so hyped about it kasi it's all over the news. Right. On the other hand, with the likes of Fable and Chrono Cross na hindi na lang, bigla na lang nilang bulaga. Pinakita na lang nila na it's gonna happen. And nakikita natin yung different types of reactions from every gamer in the world with these titles, diba? And with the mentioned leaks ngayon, and ako personally, nagulat ako doon sa mga list Kasi they were mentioning in that list untitled publisher games of whoever publisher that is.
Yeah, there's a unknown card game.
Yeah, mystery box inside the mystery box ang dating nun
It might be, for all we know, it might have been Yu-Gi-Oh. Diba? Kaka-release lang
The
ng
card
Yu-Gi-Oh!
game, the card game.
Yeah. Right, it says here on the very last part, there's an unknown card game.
Baka nga
Right?
yun eh, di ba?
Diba? I was thinking too. For all we know, that would have been Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. And kung, if you guys played the new Yu-Gi-Oh game, putang inang ganda, man.
Solid.
Ganda.
It now is at the same level or at least, trying to beat the graphics and the immersion of Hearthstone from Blizzard.
And effects too.
And effects, yes. Now, before we move forward, I'm reading a lot of interesting stuff here.
Very.
Sabi ni Joshua, I'm on the fence with Final Fantasy IX remake because it was made to look back on the older Final Fantasy games, from character classes to the monsters. A remake would be somewhat questionable for me. Tell us why. That's pretty interesting. That's a pretty interesting take.
I actually agree with that. Dahil alam naman natin, FF7, 8, and 9 got remasters. It was announced a few years back, and now meron tayo nun sa PS4, sa PC, and whatnot. And just pinaka-recent was, along with that announcement, was the remake of Final Fantasy 8 na makikita na natin kagwapuhan ni Cloud during the ball. Diba? That was the meme.
Outside of the CGI.
Outside of the CGI. Pero, I mean, they have remasters of these games. Tapos nagkaroon ng remake si Final Fantasy 7. And they called it a remake, but it was really a new game in itself. They didn't follow the storyline. The characters were there, pero yung plot was somehow changed, diba? If you played Final Fantasy 7, the original one, and then you play the remake, sobrang iba. Kasi one example was yung first laban ni Cloud kay Sephiroth. It was in the remake, but it was never on the original one. Diba? Nakikita lang natin yung flashback.
Right.
Diba? Yung flashback. Pero the first time na magkikita sila was on Shinra. In Shinra. Nagkita ba sila ni Shinra? Parang hindi pa nga eh. Pero nalaman niya lang na si Sephiroth was alive. Pero dito sa remake, nagkaroon sila ng malalabanan mo siya.
Sila eh. Oo,
nalabanan mo siya eh, diba? So, hindi nila sinundan. So, I agree kasi, let's put it this way. Marami nagsasabi, even more people say that Final Fantasy IX was the best, if not, was one of the best, if not the best modern Final Fantasy game ever. No, taking aside Final Fantasy 15, di naman masyado okay, diba? If they do make a remake of that, for me, para sa akin lang, it might lose the essence of being the best modern Final Fantasy. Even
kahit
better
paganday
than
nila nila yung graphics, mechanics.
The graphics are, graphics are only visually appealing. Pero ang hinahabol mo kasi dyan is yung entertainment and yung joy na pag nilalaro mo. Like, ikaw, BJ, you played Final Fantasy Remake, di ba? Did you play the original one?
Yeah. 7? Yeah.
Oo, yung 7. So, pareho ba yung emotions na tumakbo nung nalaro mo yun?
No, definitely not. Kasi,
di ba?
The Resident Evil, Final Fantasy 7. When I didn't finish it, I was able to try it out. But when I was playing for whatever short time I had, it was more of, oh shit, this is a repainting of what happened. It's a reimagining of what went down. But when you were playing Final Fantasy 7, now taking a look at it in hindsight, parang you're more into what's going to happen versus how is it going to be played out this time.
Exactly.
And that's the novelty of the remakes.
Yun. Right? Pero we've seen remakes kasi that follow the plot. Diba? We've seen that.
Resident Evil, kaya nga it slipped
Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2, diba? Nakita na natin yan. Tapos Square Enix made changes in Final Fantasy 7. And I didn't say hindi magaganda yung change. These are changes that I feel that everyone welcomed. Especially nung ending Spoiler alert, mga kaibigan, if you haven't, putyang, laruin nyo na yung Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Pero if you haven't, basically, someone is alive. Some people are alive and kicking. No, so ganon. So ganon. They changed the timeline. They changed the universe. Diba? So it's fun.
That's what everybody wanted back in the
Exactly,
day.
exactly. And there were a lot of conspiracy theories. There was a lot of theories behind that, even after releasing the game, even before releasing the game.
Right, there's certain you have to go back to the room.
Ang dami, ang dami eh. Pero, I mean, these changes are very fun. Parang MCU and comics.
Again, it's a remake, so really it's an homage. It's a love letter to people who enjoyed it.
Agree, but if you're going to remake a game as well loved as Final Fantasy 9, it may as well be better than what you did to Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
Oh, yeah.
Kasi
the expectation has already been set kasi nung ginawa nila sa 7 before sa yung remake.
Mawawala yung essence ng kagandahan ng 9. Kasi papalitan mo yun.
Correct. And remember, as what Joshua said, Final Fantasy 9's main objective was to call back from the older games. Gone are the hyper techno shit. Gone are the guns and the super kind of steampunkish too much kind of modern take in it. Final Fantasy 9 was there so that you'd remember how it was when you were playing Cecil, the Dark Knight from Final Fantasy 4. What it was like to play like the Onion Knight in the original Final Fantasy 3, and even how to defeat a bad guy like Garland, in Final Fantasy 1. That was the whole thing. If you modernize it, I hope they only modernize it in terms of gameplay and narrative, pero the overall mechanic and the aesthetic of it should be better than what they've done. Sabi mo nga,
I welcome modernizing retro games, lalo na the games that we love. Pero you have to really get it, get it high up there, even hopefully even better. Kasi sa FF7R, hindi nga masyado nagustuhan ng mga tao yung plot eh. Pero at the end, parang na-realize na, shit, okay. So ibig sabihin, yung kagandahan ng Final Fantasy 7, medyo napalitan mo, medyo nataasan mo ng konti. Yeah, because these people are now here. So you have to do that as well. You have to study. Kailangan mo pag-aralan, bakit nga ba naging maganda to? Ano yung mga naging wishlist ng mga tao? Sino yung mabubuhay? Sino yung mamamatay? Ano yung ibabalik natin? Kasi as big of a story that as Final Fantasy 7 was, Final Fantasy 9 was not as big but more epic.
Right, true. But wait, this is exactly what the Nvidia leak is doing. This is exactly what it's intended to do. It's intended for us to not realize certain things and focus on these things that are already, and then suddenly, bam, you have Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross is yet another tale of what ifs, 42 endings plus, man. I mean, Jesus Christ, when we first played it, ang objective namin really is to finish all the endings. But again, this is what the leak wants. Parang the One Ring yan eh. The ring wants to be, it has a mind of its own. The leak has a mind of its own. I want to investigate this further. Right?
Do you think the leak is intentionally made? I asked that question kasi yung mga titles na lumabas dun sa leaks, nagsisilabasan na ngayon.
70% of leaks basically marketing ploy.
Yan. So,
yan.
Ngayon, dito ko natanong ko yan kasi when I was reading
JC, madaya ka, JC Malapit.
Oo nga, bigyan, dumaan tapos bigyan na nawala.
Comes in, flies away. Loko.
Hindi kasi sabi ko, I saw the list, tapos yung listahan na yun, may mga lumabas na. And may mga titles ngayon dito na parang, please lumabas ka. And there's that particular list eh. Kaya ako natanong yun. Kasi baka mamaya it's a marketing strategy.
Well, that's what Chino's been saying. He says that, to quote unquote, Chino, It's
para sa akin lang
planted.
naman to. Para sa akin lang naman to. That is mga 60 to 70% of leaks, lalo na sa video, sa gaming industry, lalo na sa mga, sa entertainment industry, sabihin natin ganyan.
Okay.
Siguro mga 60-70% of leaks, ano lang yan, minsan marketing ploy. Is to bring hype up.
Is that a bad thing?
To bring hype. I can't say, well, hindi naman siya bad thing. It's going to be bad for the developers.
Okay.
If iba yung
If pumalya ka.
Let's say mag-leak yung Cyber 2077.
Cyberpunk.
Let's say mag-leak siya. Cyberpunk 2077. Let's say mag-leak siya. Ano kaya yung magandang leak niya para ma-bring up yung hype? Maybe the customization of vehicles that they promised. Maybe the immersion of the world that they promised. Diba? Pero nung nilabas, walang nangyari, diba? I mean, these leaks kasi, they are used para ma-bring up yung hype. Pero gagamitin mo lang yung leaks na to. If yung nileak mo is mangyayari talaga.
Or if the leak was used properly.
Exactly. I mean, kung nag-leak ka, pero wala namang nangyari dun, hindi isa dun sa mga sa nileak mo, wala namang nangyari. Ba't ka pa nag-leak? Well, that's stupidity in my opinion. Pero ito, yung GeForce Now, regardless if it's a planted leak or if it's not a planted leak, one, someone got fired, and two,
I hope not.
And two, pinag-uusapan natin siya ngayon, and we're slowly seeing the truthfulness behind this leak, and hype is up. Diba?
Right.
Excitement is up.
What I personally think about this is that, I don't necessarily agree with Notch when he said that it's planted. I think, and here's my take on it. They didn't intend this to come out. And then notice when it came out, they didn't say anything. None of the developers said anything, and they just let it be. So what I'm thinking is they didn't intend for this to happen, which is the norm in a lot of gaming, in the gaming industry.
Gaming or tech leaks, ganyan di ba?
Right. And they just let it happen. I think they let it slide. Kasi normally, pagka may mga ganyan, they would say, no, it's not true. And which probably fuels the reason why it's planted. I think they just accepted it and then rolled with the idea of it being intentional.
Only if asked. I mean, they will answer only if asked.
Correct.
Tinanong ba?
Oh, if not, then wala. Right? I mean, I think they didn't intend for this to come out. But when it did, they realized, oh, that's something to take their minds off of what we're not producing at this point. That should shut the people up, right?
Yeah,
imagine you brought up Cyberpunk 2077. Imagine if this happened with CD Projekt Red before they released the game. People were clamoring, "What are you guys doing? You haven't produced anything in a long time." Blah 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 blah. Tapos napilitan sila. Imagine if they were part of the leak. People would have been quiet. People would have been just, there's a leak. Let's pretend we don't know. And then that bought the publishers and the developers some time. I think that's what happened. I think for me, it's really just they let it become a marketing thing rather than them doing it. Because there's no value in releasing it like that.
Actually,
the risk is, ito.
Especially with Nvidia and the GeForce Now, sila yung nagkaroon ng leak.
Correct, right? Now, I'll tell you this. One thing that I don't think is going to come out soon is Street Fighter 6. I don't think so. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to.
Or Tekken
8. Yeah, Tekken 8. Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 12, and Injustice Gods Will Fall. I don't think these fighting games are going to come out soon. Why? Because the current iteration of the IPs are still alive and kicking. You still have Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition. MK11 Ultimate is there. Although Injustice 2 is not as popular anymore. These fighting games are still making money. Whether it's finished or not, I don't think it's coming out soon anytime this year. But it's something I'm looking forward to. Now, if the developers did intend for it to come out and then failed on it, the risk is way higher than the game. That's what I think about.
Ako naniniwala ako sa'yo. Kasi, marketing consultant ka. So, din ako. Okay, I agree with you. I totally agree, and I redact my statement.
Ano ba
Well,
redact
well,
ang bira ka?
I have to say the reduction was not of force. It was done out of his free will, and we did not do any illegal ways of conducting the
Yes,
conversation.
and we did not even, we did not even talk about Nintendo so much.
Yes, yes. Please do not send your Nintendo ninjas here. We're just trying to have fun on a Friday evening. Um, okay, so let me just ask you this question. Since I mentioned the things that I don't think are gonna come out, right? I want to ask you what you're expecting next. Kasi ako, to be honest, I didn't realize that a lot of the games are already out. Didn't realize it at all. Only when I checked out the list and I said, "Holy shit!" I actually played some of it. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was part of the list. But what are you most looking forward to,
Yeah.
and why do you think that's gonna come out soon? Let's start off with Captain Mike.
Naano ako dyan eh. Naano ako dyan sa question niya. Kasi if I were to make a list of games, one of them is yung, kasi dun sa list sa leaks kasi, when you guys check on the leaks online, meron dun mga untitled publisher games eh. And one of them is Square Enix eh. Sinabi nila Untitled Square Enix game. And
Strangers in Paradise pala yun.
hindi ko rin alam. I cannot tell eh.
Oh,
Pero,
puta malay mo. I just realized na. Baka nga Strangers in Paradise.
Oh.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
And why not? Diba? The title I'm looking forward to is both are PS exclusives. Star Ocean Till the End of Time and
Okay.
sa maniwala kayo
that.
sa hindi, Gravity Rush. Kasi
Gravity Rush.
Okay. The games kasi nung pinakita dito are part of this Nvidia GeForce Now leaks eh.
Yeah.
Imaginein mo yung power and capability nung Nvidia hardware ngayon, particularly the RTX cards.
Oh, pero we're talking about the streaming platform Cap and not the graphic cards.
That's correct. So imagine mo yung, siyempre pag nilipat na sa PC yun, yung mga games na yun, gusto mo makita na, uy, mas maganda kalalabasan nito versus dun sa old platforms nila.
And sorry Cap to interrupt always. Just to clarify, guys. Ulitin ko ulit, GeForce Now is a streaming platform. So which means that these games here doesn't mean that they are all going to PC.
Yeah, it's not a PC thing, right? It just so happens that the leaks were sent to Nvidia, and when it leaked out, it had the Nvidia last touch.
Remember, again, this is a streaming platform, and you can basically stream anything, PC, consoles, no. So ayun, just to be clear with everyone. Pero question Cap, till the end of time, you keep mentioning it. Diba Star Ocean yan? Was it part of the leak?
Hindi siya binanggit. Pero it was noted as an untitled Square Enix game.
Okay. He's hoping that one of his unlisted games are part of the list.
Oo. Yun yung, I mean, that obviously had a great story, had great graphics back in the day. So kung ilalagay siya sa PC, syempre with the modern technology we have now, gusto ko makita how it would turn out. And syempre it would open to a different set of people, particularly PC gamers, particularly other gamers for different platforms would see the story din as well. Gravity Rush, natuwa lang kasi ako sa kanya na nilabas, ginawan siya ng remastered pero for the console only. Gusto ko siya makita sa PC.
Cool. Let me just read out some of the things that were mentioned here. Somebody, John Japson, in relation to what we were talking about earlier about Final Fantasy, he said, stick with the story. Mas going broad, wag sanang baguhin.
Okay.
Fine, good. That's actually a valid thing to say. 12 endings pala to be exact. Sorry, my mistake. 3 yung matapos daw ni John. Sabi ni Josh, remake was already in the talks before and after the reveal of Chocobo GP because they were showcasing Vivi and Steiner. Yes, that was a little bit of a telltale sign there.
Mhm.
Tulad daw ng ginawa, sabi ni John, tulad ng ginawa nila sa Elder Scrolls 6 Wisit daw.
Oo nga. Pucha, nagpakita na ng landscape eh. Puta, pagdating doon, Elder Scrolls 6. Wala na.
Wow!
Tapos wala na tayo
Sony
narinig
fan-
after that. Motherfucker.
Sony fanboys were enraged when they found out their precious exclusives are no longer exclusives. Yeah. They're only an exclusive for a limited period of time and then you're not
That,
an exclusive.
you know, that's the thing with exclusives ngayon eh. Kasi, before, pag sinabi mo exclusive siya, you
You're
would
stuck
never
with it.
think na puta, na lalabas siya sa any other console aside from my PlayStation. Ngayon, if you call it an exclusive,
Yeah, wait a year.
kailangan mo
It's not.
tanungin, is this exclusive to console or a timed exclusive?
Yan. They should put that
You know, Pete, it just goes to show,
made it clear.
PC Master Race, number 1.
Of course.
Sabi ni Ale, I'll have to wait a year later of release because I want to play that Edgelord Garland in the remaining Final Fantasy 1. Unless, of course, Square doubles down on their exclusive stuff. Yeah, right. Oy, si Lorenzo. Lorenzo, what's up?
Hey, what's up,
Lorenzo?
Lorenzo? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And sabi ni Jim Calimoso, sorry, I know that was this was talked about earlier, but imagine LOTR with graphics ng FF7 remake. Abso-freaking-lutely. If you take a look at the
not?
Golem trailer, shit, that's some pristine graphics right there. Check it out, Golem's right there, man. Ganda. Actually, I agree with you. Tapos graphics ng FF7, the shininess and all that, and you will see the glowing Minas Morgul. Ah, yes. Love it. Okay. So that's Captain Mike's take. What he wants. He kind of cheated us out on this one kasi he picked the
What?
unnamed ones.
Oo
So,
nga.
ikaw, Notch. Sa mga nakalista, ikaw, what's
Ako,
your...
before I say my piece, idadovetail lang ako dun sa unannounced Square Enix game. Kailan na-leak to?
Yung alin?
Yung, di ba, meron doon unannounced Square Enix game. Yung pinag-usapan ni Cap, di ba?
Yeah.
Na wini-wish niya na sana Star Ocean. Kailan ni-leak to?
This was
2021.
2021. That was last year.
2021, last year. Kailan in-announce yung Final Fantasy Origins? Stranger in Paradise.
Nako, yun na nga sinasabi ko. Ay na pare.
It was after the leak.
Yeah.
Months after.
Yeah.
Kaya
I
ako
remember.
sinasabi.
A release date 2022.
Kaya ako sinasabi na it's possibly this could possibly be the unannounced Square Enix game. Kasi if you followed Final Fantasy history, you'd know Final Fantasy 1. Of course, di ko sinasabi you have to play it, pero at least you have to be familiar with the storyline. And you would know you would be familiar with Garland. And Stranger in Paradise is basically a retelling of Final Fantasy Origins. Weirdly enough, you play as the big baddie of Final Fantasy 1. So, baka, di natin alam, di ba?
Actually, yeah. I mean, come to think of it, it's a good point to bring up because I remember watching this, and there are a lot of people are complaining about the fact that it looks too westernized. It's Final Fantasy-esque kind of thing, but it plays a lot like a Western game. And people seem to have forgotten that the leak mentioned something specific about a Square Enix unnamed game that will be announced. And after the leak was announced, that was the only Square Enix announcement.
Also,
right.
remember, hindi pa nga nila in-announce na Final Fantasy Origins siya. The first title they released was Stranger in Paradise.
Correct. And then it turned out to be, oh shit, this is Garland's story? Right, that was everybody.
Garland was a hero! He was part of the Crystal Four.
Okay, Garland even has a name, right? Yung hero sa 1 is just called the Hero of Light because you're supposed to name your character, right? He was just
whatever you like.
Whatever you like, you know.
It's fun. It's I'm excited for that.
So what are you most looking forward to And why this one in particular?
Dapat hindi pa announced or released, no? Of course. Pero not announced, no?
Not
Okay.
yet.
I'm actually I'm hoping na magkaroon nga ng Ghost of Tsushima or sa PC. Dahil, if you've played Ghost of Tsushima sa PS4, even on PS4 pala, the graphics, man.
The graphics.
God damn! Grabe yung graphics talaga. Tapos, pag nilaro mo siya sa PS5, maganda na nga. Eh, puta, lagyan mo pa ng RTX. God and shit like that. I mean, nung nirelease yung God of War, wala silang ibang sinabi kundi the graphics.
Right. True.
And
why do you think this is plausible?
Kasi they just released God of War. And they released and I forgot. Death Stranding. They just released Death Stranding, and it's really possible that they're going to be releasing Death Stranding director's cut sa PC. Sobrang laking possibility nun. If it hasn't been announced, I'm sure it will be announced soon. I don't know if this year, pero definitely lalabas yan. Kasi halos magkasabay yung release ng Death Stranding sa console, and kung hindi lang na-delay yung PC of it. I'm one of those na hoping they would remaster.
I'm sorry again, remaster
Tactics
what?
Talaga.
Tactics?
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Why of all games yon? Kasi
it deserves to be remastered.
Bro, because it's tactics, my dude.
Kasi alam mo ba, the most recent Tactics game, War of the Lions, was I think PSP ba? BJ or Vita?
That was PSP.
PSP. That was the most recent. Sobrang tagal na nun. And they're bringing back a lot of old retro games, Chrono Cross, right? And why not Tactics? It was one of the best. It was one of the most popular PS1 games. Non-release ng Squaresoft ng time. US Code Square.
True.
Sobrang daming Easter eggs doon. Ang daming hidden characters. Cloud.
Oh, I'm sorry. It did release on the Vita.
Oh, Vita.
It was released on the Vita. Yeah.
But this was a port.
Yeah. It's actually basically just a port.
So. Based on the PSP game, right? The PSP game was the newest version. Tama ba? So yun. So I mean, that's the server remaster. Not a remake, mind you, pero a remaster. Pero imagine mo, BJ, ni-remake yung Final Fantasy Tactics. What? Oh, sobra naman. You know, na ako ng dugo.
I remember sabi ni Joshua, he's right. War on the Lions gave them cutscenes too. So that was a nice update. So when we first saw cutscenes on War of the Lions, that was, holy shit, now it's more immersive, you know? Sabi ni JM, Tactics is the she.
Ito
if inuman na to pagka may double block na kasama.
Totoo yan. If you're not aware, Final Fantasy Tactics is actually in the same universe as Final Fantasy 12. Ibalis, diba? There's another game that's also part of that same universe. Kalimutan ko lang. Baka maalala mo, BJ. Pero
what do you mean?
I mean same universe with Ibalis, diba? Kasi
yeah.
I think I was talking about, I'm not talking about the Final Fantasy game, pero basically parang same universe sila. So isipin mo, pag magkaroon ng remaster, si Tactics, possible, no? Pucha, nandun yung characters ng Final Fantasy 12.
Bruh! Make that story!
Yun! Exactly, my man!
Riot.
It's not Final Fantasy game, but, it's Squaresoft game is in the same.
Goddamn.
No, I mean, the possibilities are. I don't want to say endless, no, but the possibilities are big, are there. So yeah, Tactics definitely, man. Stay on. And syempre, the one of the my loves, Snake Eater, puta, you need a remaster. Or wag mo na yung remake, remaster mo na lang.
Remake,
Faster,
No,
easier.
mas gusto ko remake kasi you have to put more mechanics sa game. Kasi kung
Mechanics, you can always put in new mechanics. Pero,
pero for people na remember, pag ni-remake nila ginawa nila to ngayon, yung iba syempre ina-anticipate na okay, same.
So were you were able to play Metal Gear Solid 3, right? Back in the day.
Back in the day. Oo naman.
Oo.
Alam mo bakit sinasabi ko hindi I don't think it will be remade.
Sige.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Phantom Pain.
It was under Kojima. Diba? After Phantom Pain, ano yung na-release? Hindi mo na nga alam eh. Diba?
The fucking zombie thing.
Hindi mo na nga alam eh. Sa tingin mo ba, one of the masterpieces of Kojima, i-remake ng Konami? No way! Yung Suikoden nga, hindi nila ma-remake eh.
And that's theirs.
Hindi man lang ma-remaster eh.
That's theirs already.
O, teka lang, ba't sumisigaw to si Joshua Ganayo? I want my Tales of Destiny director's cut. That game is money, Bamco. Just localize it. Oo nga naman.
Shut up, Trickster! Hindi na gagawin yun.
No, remastered then remake, go na yan. Mayaman si Papa, sabi ni John Chap.
Pero isipin mo, if Kojima does say na parang, okay, sige, kukunin ko yung Metal Gear Solid at dadali ko sa Kojima Production.
Is that?
Hindi nangyayari yun.
No.
Nangyayari yun. The best thing that they can do and the least bit of money and the fastest way to do it is remaster.
Okay.
Yeah. Simply because Kojima's not going to be there. And I don't think Metal Gear remake will ever happen without, Kojima.
Oh, yes.
Coming in. Kasi pare, dude, sabi nga ni Gina, after Phantom Pain came out, what did you have for the Metal Gear series?
Garbage.
You started dying with that zombie shit that you have to kill the zombie from the fences. That's all there is. There's nothing else you can do about it.
That is Chino's Cole Young in a video game. That latest.
Sabi ni Joshua, that's true. Tama to. There's actually a remake of MSG1 on GameCube.
What?
Yeah. They already remade Metal Gear Solid 1, the first one, with Psycho Mantis and the introduction of Revolver Ocelot.
Di ko alam yun.
Di ko rin alam yun.
It's GameCube.
Now I have to search for that.
Because now
Twin Snakes.
Diba? Because they can do that because Kojima is there to oversee a lot of these. But now Kojima has already finished his cup of Konami tears in his Twitter. Naalala niyo? he uploaded a photo of him drinking from a cup of Konami's tears, and I think there won't.
Fuck you, Konami. Pero I mean, alam mo, nakakalungkot lang. Kahit dinadasal ko talaga, hindi talaga mangyayari yung remaster. I mean, even a collection. Isama na nila yung 3 at yung 4. Isama na nila yung 3 and 4. Okay lang.
Ilagay na nila something people can actually go back.
Hindi na nga, huwag na nga nila i-remaster. Ilagay lang nila sa e-collection at ibenta na lang sa mga. No remasters included or needed. Gusto lang namin magkaroon ng a fresh copy of Suikoden. You can never, you won't be able to get a copy of Suikoden now. It's very, very rare. At
Legally,
ang mahal.
Legally, it's very difficult.
Yeah, we have to make that disclaimer.
At wala akong copy ng Suikoden.
Never siya nag-stream nun.
Wala.
I only played 5 for a bit when I was when I was still working. Pero
Played Suikoden 5.
Oh man, was one of the best for me. Kung irarank ka, it's 2, 5, 1, then bahala na sila doon.
Okay.
2511.
If there's any game that I would associate I would associate Notch with, it's Suikoden. I mean, Suikoden is a fucking Bible to him. You know, everything that is said in that game is truth for this guy. You know, there's nothing.
Ako,
There's nothing else.
before nung may legit copy pa ako nun, may legit copy pa ako nun before. Yeah, I played it every year.
Huh?
Ano na?
I played it every year.
Ganun siya kaganda for you?
Ako nga nagsabi kay JC na stream niya. Nung in-stream niya nung Game Ako Days, putyang ina, pumutok.
Grabe
Suikoden
kasi naman
pare. Damn.
Well, there's so many things we could get into all of these things. We haven't even talked about the ones that are improbable to come out. We mentioned some: Street Fighter 6, the remake, Monster Hunter 6, maybe,
maybe
Halo 5 Guardians, Tekken 8, Metro Next, Earth Defense Force 6 is actually out, I think. But there's so many things that this leak is not saying to us. And in my opinion, what this is saying is that what we just mentioned earlier. There is a limitless amount of possibilities when it comes to the industry nowadays. And this is such an important turning point in the gaming histories, particularly in the Philippines, is because we are already getting, forward information. Back in the day, you'd never get any of this shit. None of these things would be made available to you.
Nope.
Until you actually look for it. And now, with, of course, the help of the G3 podcast, yes, we are bringing that over to you guys every Friday. But the last thing that I want to say here about this leak is that I really hope that I really hope that not every single one of the leaks come true. Because I know some of them would not make sense if they do come out. I'm looking forward to a lot of things. I'm very happy that a lot of things have already come true. The dream come true. We were talking about this. Notch and I we're just discussing this last night. Dreams do come true. In his case, it was in the form of Pokemon Arceus. It's an open world Pokemon game that he mentioned that he thought it would never happen, but it did.
Dream come true.
He's always wanted to have a game like this, and it did come true. The
I'm
games
up
that are
against an
listed
alpha.
here right now, yeah, you suck.
PG
Alpha. I hope it knocks you out. Suck. Basahin ko na to. Ako lang ba gusto magkaroon ng remaster ng Azure Dreams? Uy! That's a good title, pare. Good thing. Azure Dreams. Nice. Sabi nito, so many times I finished Tales of Legendia and Tales of Eternia. The Tales series, I have a special liking to. I really do. The Tales, I would associate to Joshua, I suppose, as I associated Suikoden to Notch. Suikoden for him is what Tales is for me. Yes, true. Nako, guys, there's so many things that we could talk about. Unfortunately, we're almost approaching our second hour, guys, and the night is still young. We had a lot of fun talking about these things.
Buti na lang kasi gusto ko na maglaro eh.
Uy, nakakahiya naman sa busy time and schedule mo.
He is may I let you know, Mr. Ganayo, that he is downright multitasking.
Pare, ang hirap kumuha ng alpha. Very sensitive sila sa sound.
Yeah, apparently that the alpha takes precedence over the legalities of our show. Pero I will really rethink this scheduling and this friendship. Ever since Pokemon Arceus came out, I had to do certain things for people that I normally wouldn't fucking do. But anyway, guys, again, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. But do you have any last words about this leak? What your last impressions and what your predictions would be? And if you have some shows coming up, invite them. Let's start off with Captain Mike.
Okay, so by the way, shoutout nga pala doon sa mga nanonood din sa pages namin with Notch, Pop Mug, and obviously Captain Mike. Shoutout nga pala to Abby Sunday, Glenn Arcinas. Talagang they were like joining in, throwing in their comments on the show. Also to Ma'am Sandra from Converge. Thank you for watching.
Hi Converge. We'd like to invite you
Yan.
to our event.
Yes, please.
As a partner, para may wifi kami sa loob.
Kasi,
Just saying it out there.
But also, also,
Parang one-sided nung proposal mo.
Hindi.
Hindi, syempre,
Everything powered by Converge.
Everything is powered by Converge.
I mean, everything is powered by
Kahit
Converge.
wallet ko, powered by Converge.
Tatlo tayo naka-converge dito and everything runs on the same, the same provider. Takeaway ko dito is, syempre, marami na naman ako natutunan sa inyong dalawa. So much na I am actually looking at my phone and considering downloading this particular game for my mobile phone.
You should, man. You
should download it legally.
Oo. It's 600.
Pay for it.
It's 669 pesos.
Go.
Yeah, please go ahead. If you don't mind, download for us also. Why not? We're friends.
The leaks could be a good or a bad thing. But when used properly, just like everything else, it can benefit both the developers and the consumers like us. So for making the G3 podcast your podcast of choice on a chill Friday night, maraming salamat sa mga nag-like, nag-follow, nag-share na to. Please don't forget to follow our social media accounts on our Link3 sites. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Sabi ni JM, walang stars donation. Wala pa.
Oo nga po eh. Wala pa eh. Mga kaibigan.
We're working on
gusto
it.
Gusto niyo po, we can talk about that, our bank transfer details offline.
Alam mo, kung magkaroon mga kami ng stars donation, I can explain to you kung anong gagawin namin sa stars na ito. Be ready with those stars.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ako naman. Para sa akin, always, take these rumors, take all leaks with a big bunch of salt.
Hindi na grain
eh. Bunch
sa panahon
of salt.
Sa panahon ng fake news ngayon.
Diba? Sabi nga ni Evidencel isa lang ang tunay sa 1,000 duda.
Yan.
Parang ganon. Sa 1,000 pagdududa. Pero, yun nga, nakikita natin na there are some that are proven true, denounced na, re-release na, Chrono Cross, with Radiant Dreams. Diba? So, yeah, you never know. Sa video gaming industry, anything is possible as long as these developers are willing to do it. Hint, hint, wink, wink, economy, Suikoden, selection. Yeah, so, be surprised, but don't be too surprised. Kasi, nandito naman eh. Like I said, Chrono Cross, alam na natin na sa listahan yan, pero we never expected it to happen. It was a surprise for all of us. Diba? Pero, masaya, it was a fun surprise, and pag nakita natin, isa-isahin namin yan. Bawat release, titignan namin. Check. And hopefully nga, kung ano man yung unannounced Square Enix game na yon, it might be Star Ocean, still the end of time. It might just be Stranger in Paradise. We can never know. Or, baka i-announce nila. But still, the video gaming industry is here to stay, and you can always expect a lot from these people. And you can always expect a lot from us.
Absolutely. We're going to tack that leak list on our walls, and we're going to be constantly checking it for every single release that we're going to be seeing. And once that list is complete, we'll find out which ones are true and which ones did not come. Promise namin sa inyo yan.
Ayun, sabi ni Glenn Arcinas, Chrono Cross, Dame Son. Ala ko nabaon na sa limot, di ba?
Yeah. And to which I say, you hope for the best, but you expect the worst. That's going to make your life a little bit happier, I think. We didn't expect it to come, we wanted to come, but we weren't expecting it, and then boom, the news is it's here.
Here we go.
We only had positive feelings about the entire thing. So talagang nabulabog kami nung in-announce yan.
Yeah.
So, inabot ako ng 7 ng umaga.
Very much.
I just want to say thank you to JM Calimosos, who's asking for the stars donation. Yes, hopefully, Sir Glenn, please. I hope it happens. I hope it happens when we get the stars back. And we're definitely going to be here for you guys. I agree with Notch and Captain Mike. Take everything with a grain of salt. Don't expect everything to happen. But what I will tell you is that what you can expect is that the G3 podcast is always going to be here for you guys with all the nerdy and geeky things and everything in between, bringing you the latest and the hottest and the greatest of geeks and nerds everywhere around the world. Fortunately, we've run out of time. But again, maraming salamat po sa mga nagstay at nanood. Thank you for joining the conversation. This is your host, BJG.
Wala naman yung kadabra!
Yan. We're going to sign out because he's never gonna get the fucking cadabra. I curse it. I swear to God. Buti nga. Yan. But we're gonna be playing our games now, so thank you very much. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Magandang gabi. Thank you. This is BJG. That's Captain Mike. That is Notch playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. We'll see you next Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, in time for Valentine's Day. We're gonna be talking about a lot of love. We'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.